Hobart commuter. Nice mild winter morning in Hobart this morning. Absolutely perfect conditions to ride in. What I'm going to do today is take you guys through town and down through Salamanca and Battery Point and along Maryville Esplanade to the university. It's quite a popular and a safe route to cycle if you're coming from the city into the university. And while I do that, what I wanted to talk about was, I mentioned in a previous video some time back about Tasmanian police from early next year, so that's 2018, they'll start wearing body cameras while they're on patrol for various, obviously for obvious reasons of wanting to, for accountability and for protection and to dissuade violent and aggressive behaviour against them and to resolve disputes easily, that sort of thing. And it got me thinking about this practice of actually wearing a camera and my own kind of ethical obligations, I guess, wearing a camera. And the reason I say that is sometimes I go running at the gym on a treadmill. I don't know why. It's just easy, it's lazy. And they've got like a screen in front of you that you can watch things, and I usually watch YouTube. And if I'm not watching movie previews, then I'm watching car crashes and motorcycle crashes and bicycle crash compilations. It's pretty sadistic, really, or masochistic, almost in a way. And I don't know, I like to see what the cyclists are doing wrong, and I like to see what happens as well. But it's pretty unhealthy practice, I'll give you that. Okay. Just got to try and concentrate and get over a few lanes here. Okay, excellent. So, one of the things I noticed was, okay, number one, most of the crashes, or most of the footage, at least in the videos that I was accessing, was coming from Russia, or at least Eastern Europe somewhere, just based upon the language and the signs, the street signs and so forth. And the other thing that was quite extraordinary about it was that sometimes there'd be a crash, right? You see a crash involving a pedestrian or a car or something. And then, you'd have a couple of other videos spliced through. And then another video, say a few videos down the track, will feature the same crash, but from a different angle. Like either the car behind or a car facing the other way. And I thought, what on earth is going on there? And it turns out like there was a craze of getting dash cams in Russia. For whatever reason, perhaps to do with maybe you just couldn't get a payout if you had an accident, or you couldn't witness statements weren't enough. I don't know. I'm speculating here. But for whatever reason, there was a dash cam craze in Russia, so everyone just got dash cams. And I'm wondering what kind of society that creates, that everyone goes around with cameras, and that's some of the questions that have been asked or were posed when they put forth this motion to have police carry body cameras. Civil liberties and invasion of privacy, and how long will the recordings be kept, in what capacity will they be shared. So yeah, do you want to live in that kind of society where everyone records one another? And obviously it puts you in mind of various dystopian novels. Probably the foremost in my mind would be 1984. And I know that's been referenced a lot since, and things like The Handmaid's Tale as well, another dystopian novel, they've really come back into circulation and been requested a lot in subsequent to Trump being elected. I won't share my views on Trump. That's not really the place for it. But what I thought was interesting about 1984, in terms of surveillance, was obviously the big thing around why that became popular again is the state surveillance, and that's something that everyone remembers about 1984. But what struck me as interesting Now I've got to get off this road at some stage, I think. I think I've got to get off here at the Flippers fish thing. I think this is me here. Just going to focus just for a moment. Yeah, I think that's me here. All right. I think I've got my own lane. Yeah, so what struck me as interesting was the fact that when I can't remember who the lead character is in that, but he's apparently the last man in Europe. I think that was the original title of that book. Anyway, everyone's watching each other. So, you know, he's in his apartment building. He's obviously being watched by the television. That's one of the big factors. Now, where else am I? Am I on the right track here? Yeah, right. Okay, so it's a shared path. Excellent. I'll just, oh, look, I've got a light. Oh, that's wonderful. Look at that. I've got a bike light. How cool is that? See, look at, like, I'm always crapping on about being legitimised on the road. Look at me, I've got my own light. It's green. So I think this is me here. Oh, wow. Would you look at this? I have not ridden this way before. I really should. It's quite wonderful. So as a cyclist, this is wonderful. So you obviously want nice, quiet spots. Pretty low-grade hill we've got here too. So if you're riding into uni or into Sandy Bay, this is a really good path to pursue. So I was talking about the cameras, and I mean the main point. Actually, I'll come back to this again. There's a lot of different sort of aspects of the camera surveillance or surveilling each other that I'd like to talk about. Morning. But I guess, yeah, the interesting thing is this idea of us all kind of spying on one another. Now, interestingly, I had a run-in with a guy in a car earlier this year, and he came in and he cut me off very, very close, very aggressively. And I went round the window to ask him why he did it, which is it's not advisable, really. Sometimes you get some real nutcases. And he basically said that's what I got, that's what I deserved for not indicating. Now, I'm pretty sure I indicated it. It's unusual for me not to indicate. But the result was I was quite shaken up by it. He, even after we had our altercation and we had our discussion, goodness me, this is steep. So I think I want that little bridge on the left. Just take it real easy. I rang the police and I said, look, I had this run-in with this guy who threatened me with his car. Is there anything that I can do about it in future? And they said, you really need to report it at the time. So I only reported it in the afternoon. I was still pretty shaken. So I'm coming along Maryville Esplanade here. This is Errol Flynn Park on my left here. Errol Flynn, he who played Robin Hood in the 1930s in Hollywood. One of our famous Tasmanians. Beautiful little park here, and that's the Royal Yacht Club there on my left that you can see. And the casino beyond it. So we're just coming around to the university here. So I said to the police officer, look, is there any, should I wear a camera? Would that help? Because then I'll be able to give you the footage. And I was expecting, this, yeah, that's a great idea, go ahead and do that. But he said, no, that'll only antagonise the driver. And it's questionable whether that footage is admissible in court. He was very down on the idea, and I subsequently rung the Bicycle Network just for a bit more advice, because they've got lawyers there who can talk you through what's legal and what's advisable and that sort of stuff. And they said something similar, actually. They said you have to be very careful about wearing a camera, particularly a helmet, because it devoids the... you can actually get arrested for it. There was a guy in Victoria in 2015 who had a GoPro on the side of his helmet, and he was pulled over the police and fined and subsequently charged in court, or whatever it is, found guilty in court. He actually did an appeal and got the decision overturned, which has been kind of validation for people to be able to wear surveillance things. It was mainly because if you wear something that protrudes more than 5mm from the helmet, it voids the it voids the safety on the helmet. So you have to be careful about attaching things to your helmet. I, of course, wear it on my chest. It's like putting a bra on, or a bro.
You want me to wear a bra? No, no. A bra is for ladies. Meet the bro.
But it's just easier for me because I find the GoPro quite heavy and I don't like to attach it to my helmet. It's quite a popular cycleway. This goes all the way to Taruna, by the way. So it's a very, very good cycleway. But I actually want to get off and turn right here. So I'm just going to pop onto the road the first chance I get. Yeah, so while I'm using the camera here to record just as a video project, it's not going to harm me, I think, if I get into an accident. The footage is admissible in court, from what I understand. I couldn't find too many Australian contexts, but it's definitely allowed in America and Canada, that's for sure. And I'll be surprised if the jury would reject that. I mean, I know that the cameras tend to distort, like the kind of concave or convex lens on the camera tends to distort the distance. So, for example, I mean, it distorts it not in your favour. So what feels close to you and what is in reality close, on the GoPro it tends to look a little bit further away. It's always disappointing. You think, man, that's crazy how close that person passed me. That's going to look terrible, and then it looks really pedestrian on the GoPro. Yeah, so having given it some thought, I think it's a useful thing to do for a bicycle to have, and believe it or not, it actually makes you more accountable. It makes you behave because you know you're being watched. You're basically watching yourself, and I mean you can edit it, of course, but morning. It does make you more accountable. So yeah, I'll return to cameras again at some stage, but just thought I'd share that with you, and that sort of ride too, if you're looking, if anyone is watching this, if anyone's watching this who's going to travel from the city into the university, consider that trip down through Salamanca and through Battery Point. You won't get that beautiful water walkway, that's probably never going to happen, not in my lifetime anyway. But it's a quiet street and it's safe, which is ultimately what you want when you're on a bicycle. All right, thank you for watching. See you guys next time.